Hey, everybody, it's Ron Johnson, and this is the Ron Johnson Show on Locked On Sports Minnesota. I got a special interview coming for you guys today. Jess Oakland. Now, she was the Big Ten Player of the Year. She's one of the Gophers' top players, one of the top players in the Big Ten. But this is a girl who chose Minnesota during a time when she didn't even get to see the campus because of COVID. She had a relationship with the coach. The coach brought her here and called her right when they got the job at Minnesota and said, "Hey, I want you to come to Minnesota. Would you come?" And she, sight unseen, came to Minnesota, and it's paid off for her. She's done some beautiful, beautiful things in the state of Minnesota for softball. The record doesn't always show. They enter the Big Ten tournament as fifth, but this is a girl who does it all. But with her bat, she had a game that they respected her so much, they didn't even want to throw to her. And so as I go to this interview with Jess Oakland, I hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope you guys listen to her advice for young girls. Now I got Jess Oakland joining me, and as I mentioned, she is the Big Ten Player of the Year. She's a Gopher, so you know with me, I row the boat. I played at the University of Minnesota, 98 to 2001, which is really old. Jess, what year were you born, by the way?
2004.
Oh my God. Yeah, in 2004, I was in my second year in the NFL, so it makes me feel really old at this point. But I'm a huge softball guy, as everybody knows. I know we talk football, we talk basketball on this show a ton, but because of my daughters, I am now a softball dad. I grew up playing baseball, never knew what softball was, to be honest, and now I'm in love with it. And I had a chance to interview a bunch of softball players over the last couple of years. And now I got another great one in Jess Oakland. We had Autumn Peace last year. And so the one thing I wanted to ask you, Jess, and Autumn's guy was, I can't remember the name, Sonny Gray, the pitcher for the Twins.
Yep.
Is there a guy or a player, doesn't have to be baseball, or an athlete like that like when you turn on the TV or you go on Instagram, that's somebody that you like either one are excited to see and follow, or you would lose your mind if they start following you?
I love Buster Posey. I grew up a Giants fan. I loved watching him catch. I just thought he was super, super good, super athletic. And I think he got hurt in like 2012. And I remember seeing that. And I was just so sad. But then he came back like the next year and he was like MVP, made all this. So I just thought his comeback was super cool to watch. And I just always enjoyed watching him play.
Yeah, I've always liked the Buster Posey highlight. I sent this to like our catchers at Mission, and so my daughter plays for Mission Fast Pitch, and so I'm always around to help out when I can. I coached their winter high school team. I don't actually have time to coach during the season, but the winter, because the head coaches can't coach, I took on that role and said I'll coach them through the winter. Yep. And that's the video I always love showing is Buster Posey. The ump doesn't call strike three. Buster Posey will call it for you. Yep. I love catchers like that really get the other one, and I'm blanking on his name, but I think he's Dominican or Puerto Rican. He throws the ball down, and the shortstop is not even looking at the runner. I don't know if you've seen that video.
Yeah, Javi Baez.
Oh, man.
Yep.
Oh,
very
yes. Baez, yes. So that question, have you ever done something that cocky at shortstop where you're coming across and you like, I know this girl is out. I don't even need to look at the tag, or you're like, no, I can't hot dog like that?
I don't want to say that cocky, but there was one, I think it was against Illinois this year. Our catcher Taylor threw someone out. It was a seed. I tagged her. I was looking at the runner, but like I had my arm pointed out, pointing at her before, like as I was tagging her. I would say that was pretty good. I think there's a picture of it actually. It's pretty good.
I gotta find that picture then. We'll make sure we get that on the podcast for you guys to see. And thank you guys for watching on YouTube. Thank you guys for continuing to watch on Amazon Fire and Roku. We extremely thankful of that. Make sure you follow Jess Oakland. You can see her Instagram and her Twitter if you look down on the screen on YouTube. But for those not watching and just listening, it's Jess Oakland 9. And so you are number 9. Have you had that number your entire life?
Pretty much. I guess I got it my first year of T-ball and I loved it and I just stuck with it.
And I was to say, is there a story behind it, or is that it? You just got in T-ball and it's been that ever since?
Yeah, not really. My travel coach, who I played for since I was like 12, she was number 9. So I think that was kind of like a little starting point. It made me want to keep the number, I guess, because I looked up to her. She was a stud at Cal. She's like a 2-time All-American, so she was fun to watch. I think I kind of got that from her.
And when you think about your career, you think about the things you've been through already as a sophomore. Like, I remember being a sophomore, and I had some seniors on my team that ended up going to the NFL. So I was just I was a starter, but I was just another guy on the team. Also was like 19, and I mean, I made some of the dumbest decisions. I had nothing between my ears where it was like, oh, I'm thinking about this next step. You are already Big Ten Player of the Year. So you went from the hunter to now you're going to become the hunted, of course. How is that like rested in your mind now, knowing coming back in the offseason, everybody knows who you are now. All the pitchers know who you are now. And nationally, they're keeping an eye on you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I really haven't thought about like that, but I mean, growing up, I've always kind of played with like a little bit of a chip on my shoulder, and I think that's just going to kind of add fuel to the fire. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see how this year is going to be a little bit different from last year in terms of, you know, teams like scouting and all that. I think it's going to be super interesting, but I'm excited.
And talking about the Big Ten tournament, for those who didn't see it, you guys had some battles, but you faced, I guess I want to call it adversity as far as people being scared of you. Mm-hmm. What goes through your mind when you feel like I can't believe I'm not getting a chance to do what I really know I can do?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it really sucks to be like taken out of the game like that. I mean, I guess it's respect to me and my offense, which I understand, but it just sucks. It's kind of a heavy feeling, but at the same time, like I know at some point karma's gonna come bite them in the butt, and my teammates are gonna do this, and they're gonna do it for me, and they're gonna do it for everybody else. So I have so much faith and trust in them. So at the same time, it's kind of like, you know what, fine, walk me. Like I know someone else is gonna get that big hit or that big swing or whatever, and I love it too because on defense I can prove myself on defense too, which is even better. They can't take that away from me.
And it was a record. I mean, what was it? 6 walks? Is that like
it's stupid?
Because I was watching that and I saw the first 2, and then I don't know what I went to do real quick, and then I come back and all of a sudden I'm like, wait, what? 6? 4? Yeah. And then I get another like alert, and they're like, Jess Oakland's up to bat. This might be the way, you know. So I turned it on again, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this. Yeah. Like I personally, like I've been in part of games. I'm not gonna lie, I've been games where I got double teamed or teams purposely did that, put a safety over the top, corner on me, linebacker inside. Mm-hmm. I didn't handle it well. Like I didn't handle it where I'm like, my teammates are going to pick us up. I didn't handle it like, you know, like I hated being double teamed. Now as I'm older, I'm like, oh yeah, that's respect. I get it.
It is. Yeah.
But at the time, like for you to be mature enough to say what you just said, I knew my teammates can pick me up. I knew it's part of the game and it's respect. But when you think about the past, you know, Jocelyn Allo, this happened to her in the past as well. And there were times, and I don't know if you did this, I didn't watch them all, but where she would be taking off her armband before the pitch.
Yeah.
At any point, did you start to kind of get to that? Like after ball 3, did you like, you know what, why am I even holding this bat right now?
Right. Yeah. I did. I thought I really did think about it, but at the same time, I was like, I don't want the softball gods to come bite me in the butt for being cocky and a little disrespectful of the game. So I was like, I'll just stay here. I'll sit. I'll take it. I'll take my stuff off. Act like it's a normal walk.
Because I love that. I think it was last year, a year ago, it was Jocelyn Allo, and they showed like all of the walks where she kept getting it. And I think by one of them, like literally before the pitcher even started to pitch the 4th ball, she was already she had already dropped her stuff. Her armband was coming off. She was bending over to get her leg guard off. And it was like, I know you're gonna throw me a ball because you're scared of me. And so I get it. Like, you know, you like maybe as a junior and senior, you might do that.
Maybe,
but just understand with NIL marketing, I'm pretty sure there has to be a company out there where that could be viable to them and be like, you know what, when you're this sure, be as sure as Jess Oakland. Like, because like you got to come up with your own bit. But looking at softball as a team and you know, your teammates, and you have one of your teammates going pro to Athletes Unlimited. Mm-hmm. That wasn't a thing 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago. You know, there was the Olympics, but now young girls can actually say, you know what? If I'm not completely done with softball right away, I can go play pro for a couple years, make some money before I decide what I want to do. And who knows where it's going to go, because the WNBA was in the same spot at one point. You know, a lot of professional women's hockey, you know, a lot of these people are starting to realize, and one, I'm not going to lie, I've said this to people, I'll say it again, softball is way more exciting than baseball. I will watch an Athletes Unlimited game any day of the week over nothing against the Twins, I'm from Detroit, nothing against the Tigers, but it's just way more exciting. Like, and I love, you know, when you see what is it? What is her name? The pitcher from JMU.
Odyssey, Alexander.
Odyssey. Yep. Like when you watch Odyssey, you watch Sis Bates, and you see and now, you know, Jocelyn Allo is going to join it. Like when you see these girls play and these women play, it's fast paced. For those that haven't had a chance to watch it, like it's one of the fastest games to be around. And that's why as a dad, like going to my daughter's games, I don't get bored. Like it's always something going on. But for you now being able to see a teammate do it, is that now on your radar?
Yeah, I think it has been since last year, since Autumn. She also is going to the WPF. It's a different league, still a pro league. I was like, dang,
Texas Smoke, right?
Texas Smoke, yep. So yeah, I mean, I hadn't really thought about it, but now that like I'm seeing, my teammates and some of my friends even who are graduating, like starting to take that next step, I'm like, maybe I can. This is something I would want to do. I mean, I am not ready for the day for softball to be over, and I still got 2 more years, but I would love to have that opportunity to go play pro ball.
And why Minnesota? Like coming out of California, you got a lot of West Coast schools, you got a lot of Southern schools, and you picked one of the coldest. Now, I love Minnesota myself. Yeah. I came from Detroit on my recruiting trip. Long time ago, you weren't even a thought in your parents' head, probably. But 1997, there was a 20-inch snowstorm that hit during my trip. So I showed up on a Friday morning. Perfect. Nice winter day. Sun. Yeah, not too cold. You know how it is in Minnesota. Sun's out. That Saturday morning, I woke up. There was 20 inches of snow. And my host left me at the dorm. So I was he took me to Sanford Hall to meet some people. You know how it is. You go out. Yeah. And he left me because he found a girl. Left me. Like I'm still friends with this guy to this day. I don't know why, but he left me. So I had to walk from where I was. Like now it's not, I don't know. It's not the Raz anymore. What's it called? The Graduate now is the hotel right there?
The hotel.
Yeah. So that used to be the Raz, and that was the hotel where recruits stayed in. I had to walk from Sanford to the Graduate in the snow, like in 20 inches of snow. Right. I'm like, what? And I still picked it. So why did you pick it?
Well, I got kind of recruited in a weird time. It was during COVID, so we couldn't take any visits. We couldn't take any visits anywhere, not on campus. Yeah. But before that, I had gone to a bunch of camps at Arizona State, and I loved it. Like I had my mindset. I was like, I want to go there. This is my school, whatever, because of Coach Wynn, who's now our associate head coach. I formed a really good relationship with her. I loved her values, her teaching methods, I just loved her way of coaching. And she became the associate head coach at Minnesota before my junior year, which is when we could talk to coaches. She called me up on September 1st and was like, hey, I want you to play for me. Like, I think, this would be cool. I know it's far from home, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But from the first phone call I had with Coach Ritter, I was like, yeah, like I really like the way that these coaches handle their business. I like their values. I think I could see myself playing for them. So I kind of took a chance and I committed there without even going to campus. But whatever. I took the chance and it turned out really well. I'm very happy with that decision.
Wow. So you didn't even get the snowstorm like I got. You just, and you know what? And it's funny. I've heard similar stories from PJ Fleck and football players during that time of COVID recruiting and what that looked like and how they had to handle it. Yeah. But when you committed sight unseen, you sign with the Gophers, you show up. When you finally get there, because I know the relationship with a coach is huge. And so Carly's a great coach. Carly Wynn, by the way, played at Florida State, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And so you show up, what was your, like, were you like, why did I do this? Or when you got there right away, you kind of felt like this is home?
The second I stepped off the plane, I felt like this was home. I loved the area. I loved the lakes, the campus. They took us all around. So it was just good to see everything. I was very happy when I got there. I was like, this is a good decision.
And now, I mean, you're from Cali. You grew up watching UCLA, USC, Oregon, Washington, and now you get to travel back at some point, probably within the next 2 years, to play one of them, and they're going to travel to you. How excited are you to get a chance to go to the West Coast now to play Big Ten softball?
I'm so excited. I know some of those girls aren't excited that are already there, but I'm extremely excited to go to some very nice stadiums in Oregon and Washington and UCLA. So I think it's going to be fun. I hope we get the chance to play there within the next 2 years.
And speaking of UCLA, I mean, Maya Brady, we know the story with her, one of the best shortstops, and also she plays center field. That's her actual position. I didn't know that story. They just threw her in his shortstop. I know. Just go play shortstop. But what have you learned from seeing players like Maya Brady play?
She's just an extreme athlete. Like I love watching her play. I loved watching her play when I was in high school. She's a great human. I've followed her on social media and everything. But yeah, she's just a tremendous athlete. I love the way she plays. I love that the coaches can literally put her anywhere, any part of the order, anywhere on the field, and she shuts up and goes to work. And I really respect that about her.
And like, and again, I'm gonna make sure I get this out to a lot of, like, there's a bunch of Facebook. Like I said, I know we joked about this before we started recording, but you're too young for Facebook. I think that's past your age group. You guys are Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, who knows what. But there's a lot of parents, because of softball, that still go to Facebook because there's some Facebook groups, and Instagram and Twitter haven't figured out groups like that for parents to be able to connect and talk about their kids' sports and get information about bats. But that's what these Facebook groups do. And I've already kind of posted it. And when I told everybody I was interviewing Jess Oakland, it was like a ton of like, oh man, that's so cool. Can't wait to hear it, blah, blah. When you're looking at that age group, 12, 10, 11, at that time, when you were down there, what softball players or what pros or, college players did you, Olympians, did you look up to or model your game after?
Sis Bates. I looked up to her.
Okay.
She was awesome. Obviously one of the best defensive shortstops ever. And I just love the way that she played. I know offensively we're very different people. But I loved watching her play. I loved watching Jocelyn Allo play too, with all the home runs and everything. That was really cool to play, cool to see. But I remember I went to a bunch of Washington camps. She was always there, so I got to talk to her and learn from her. But she was like one that I just loved watching. I would turn the TV and my eyes were always glued on her.
And now when you think about, like you said, your offensive styles are different. Do you remember hitting your first home run over the fence?
I do. I remember because I hit it and my mom was in the stands and she didn't see it because she was I think she was at the snack shack getting some food or something. She didn't see it.
So what age were you?
I was in I think I was in 10s. Like
okay.
10 years.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, but I don't think the fences were. I don't think they were 200 feet. They were probably a little scooted in.
Yeah, I think 10s is like can be like 180 to 160 depending on the tournament.
Yeah. So maybe
but your mom,
real. Yeah.
But your mom missed it.
Yep, she missed it. I remember I could go ask her. She'd be so mad if I brought it up.
I'll have to get her on after and just get her. We can edit that in and get her quick take on her thoughts of missing your first home run ever. Yeah. But then did she see your second one, or like at what point did she finally see it?
Honestly, I think she's seen everyone since. So,
but the first one she missed. So it's like taking your first steps or saying your first word. Your mom was not there. Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
I remember the exact field. I remember who we were playing against. I remember it very well.
And so a lot of people, when they in the softball world, they try to put a limit on what age should girls be good at, or what time should girls take it serious. Do you remember like when you finally like started taking it serious or really started putting in the work with softball?
Yeah. So my dad, actually, he was, he coached baseball for the longest time. He's a baseball guy. I played in the MLB for a little bit. He was coaching baseball at my high school that I ended up going to St. Francis, and he came to me in like 7th grade. At 7th grade, I was playing all different sports, soccer, basketball, volleyball, whatever. And he was like, I got offered the softball job at the school, and at the time they were terrible. And he was like, I want you to like come play for me. And I was like, okay, like I think we could do this. I didn't really like know what to say, and then I thought about it for a few days. And I was like, okay, I want to do this. This will push me to take the next step to play in college. And so yeah, was kind of when I was like, okay, I'm gonna turn it around right here. I'm gonna go pretty much all on softball. I still play other sports, but I was like, I'm gonna focus on softball. I think I can do this with his help. So I started practicing with all the older girls, and I think that's kind of what pushed me to be better, is like practicing with the older girls and getting those reps very young and always playing up. And I think it was him. He pushed me to be who I am today, honestly.
Yeah, no, and that's huge. I mean, I've heard the girl from Michigan. I think she's an Athletes Unlimited now. I think it's I forgot how you say her name. It's like it's not Rodriguez. It's like Sierra or Romero.
Yeah. Sierra.
Sierra, there it is. Sierra Romero. Yeah. Yep. And so I know her because she has a sister, right?
Sydney Romero. Yeah, she played.
There it is. Yep. And so her and her sister, I know they've talked about their dad and how much, he meant to them in softball. He pushed them. And that's a story. Like even I forgot Florida, the girl from Florida, Jason Williams, his daughter, Mia Williams, same thing. She said her dad, pushed her. And so it's kind of become a common theme, everybody other than, Maya Brady, her mom was a pitcher. So we know that where I was going to come from. But you heard a lot of I love that about the College World Series. You hear a lot of those stories about, hey, I remember my dad sitting on the bucket and blah, blah. And I was so thankful my older daughter doesn't pitch. I was like, I miss the bucket. I don't have to sit. And then my 9-year-old wants to pitch. And I'm like,
darn it. Here we
and
go.
She's 9. She's 5 feet tall. So she is tall for a 9-year-old. Yeah. And I'm like, she can whip it already at 9. She just doesn't have the consistency. And I'm like, well, she's 9. I'm like, let's just. So I'm stuck on a bucket probably for at least 4 or 5 more years until maybe she just stops and says, I'll just be a hitter. Because she can hit the ball for a 9-year-old too. Like, she's powerful, way stronger. Like, her and her sister, 7th grader, 3rd grader, they're the same strength. Mm-hmm. Like, that's what's so crazy about seeing it. So, but when you think about your softball journey, and if you were to give advice to the young girls, because again, you've seen it, those girls come up to you guys to get autographs, they come out to the camps. What's some advice? I want you to split this up. I want to start with the 9 to 12-year-olds first. What advice, or 9 to 11, because 12 now has kind of become elite in this new softball world, but 9 to 11 or 8 to 11, what advice would you give those girls?
I would just say stay positive. I mean, I was always someone who's really hard on myself. And I think, this year and last year, being in college, I've learned it's not a good mindset to have. I mean, I've played so much better when I've been positive, and, I know it's a game of failure. And it's really hard for kids that age to understand that, I would say. But just be good at shaking off things, and mistakes happen. And I know it's so much easier said than done. Just being able to shake it off, let it go. The past is in the past. You can't change the past. And stay positive and just have fun with your friends. I mean, again, I've had some of my lifelong friends I've already met through this game, and I'm so grateful for it. So,
and when you think about the 13 to 15-year-olds, that's that 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, and high school girl. What would you tell them?
Yeah, I mean, if they're seriously considering playing, Division I softball, I say just work your butt off. I mean, this game rewards hard work. Just take every opportunity and run with it. I mean, don't ever let your foot up on the gas, and you'll go where you want to go. Get those extra swings in, take those extra ground balls, go for a run. Who cares? Yeah, I just think work hard and good things will happen.
And when you look at the 11 to 12th graders, like that's 17, 18, 19 even, leaving the house, maybe softball is it for them at high school, or maybe they have a chance to go on. But what would you tell them about those last 2 years of high school?
I'd say work even harder. I mean, at that point, you're going to have to fight for a spot. College is an entirely different level, and there's a lot of stuff work you have to catch up on. Don't let off the gas. And a lot of people, when they become committed, they kind of it's like a breath of fresh air, and they lay back. But I would say just keep going on the come up. And again, good things are going to happen when you work hard. And again, also, you're leaving home, make sure you stay, have those connections at home, and always have your friends to rely on. Keep those relationships.
Yeah, well, this is Jess Oakland. I'm Ron Johnson. We're gonna have a little fun before we get out of here. Put yourself in your locker room with your teammates, right? Okay. Could be past and present. You're in the locker room with your teammates, and I want you to think about this. If you had to pick one teammate that you had to be around for 10 straight hours, whether it's a bus ride somewhere, a plane ride, you guys are maybe going to China to play in a tournament or something or whatever, what teammate are you picking, and what teammate are you like, Coach, please don't put me with her?
Oh man, for one to be around Taylor Craft, she's one of my best friends. We mess around all the time. I think people would not want to be around us. But yeah, she's one of my best friends. I would pick her any day of the week. Not be around. I love all my teammates though. Maybe Coach Wynn's baby, Addie Lou. She cries a lot.
Here's another one for you though. If you had a friend or a brother, do you have a brother?
I do not. I have two sisters.
Two sisters. So if you had a brother, what girl on the team would you be okay with him marrying? And who would you be like, please don't marry her?
Please don't marry.
It doesn't have to be because you don't like her, just because I know how she treats guys. Don't date her.
I'm trying to think. I wouldn't let Delaney Cox marry my brother. Love D. Wouldn't let her date my brother. I think I would let Lacey marry my brother, Lacey
Okay.
Lokish, one of our
Okay.
freshmen. Yeah.
Because I don't know if you remember
He's a
Stephon
sweetheart.
Diggs. Stephon Diggs was a wide receiver here. And the Vikings did that question to their locker room. And he was the overarching, no, he is
Oh, I
never going
bet.
to date my sister.
Oh, I bet. That's
And it was
awesome.
the funniest thing ever because he was sitting in the locker room like, what are y'all talking about? Like, I'm a great guy. Like, why are y'all acting like this? And so, yeah. And so that's where we always get that question from because
Yeah.
it went viral when Diggs did it. It was
Yeah.
hilarious of that. And I know you've probably seen other softball teams do that question in their locker room. And
I think we've done one of those videos.
I think you guys have done that video. And so but I am going to talk to Piper about that because I do want to come down there and do some of the social media stuff for you guys because I love those videos, but I do love like softball. Like softball girls are unique. They're weird. Is there something weird that you guys do? Like whether it's after a big win and somebody's getting interviewed or after like Florida had the wedgie home run.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know about that till this year, but that's awesome.
See, now you got to find something for next year, and you're probably going to get the brunt of most of it, whatever you choose. But is there something you guys have done to kind of like whether it's a rally cap or whatever with the team?
Yeah, I mean, we do the rally caps. I think that's pretty common though. I think after home runs, we like to pretend that we're monkeys and we beat on our chests like monkeys. That's our thing. We all think that we're monkeys and big gorillas and that we're like all super intimidating.
I thought you guys. What happened to the roll?
That was last year.
Okay, so that's gone.
Yeah, we did it a little bit this year. Then we had to switch it up. I think.
Got it. So now you got some options. You got the wedgie is out there. So now you got to I don't know what it's going to be. Jelly bean bag. There could be something. Well, that'll do it for us with the Jess Oakland interview. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you have fun watching it. But I want everybody to remember as well, softball's a growing sport. Softball's a sport that not a lot of people have really grasped to yet. But I will say the College World Series, one of the most exciting. Oklahoma has won for the 4th time. I know a lot of people are sick of Oklahoma, but enjoy the ride because runs like this don't come often. Teams like that don't come around often. Coaches like that are hard to find. And so I hope you guys enjoyed it, but I hope you understand now. Show up to the Gopher games. It's fun. It's exciting. It's fast-paced. And you're going to want to watch Jess Oakland because she has a chance to become one of the special players that softball's ever seen. And I hope you guys know that. I'm Ron Johnson. Thank you guys for watching this interview and the show, and have a great week. And also, please download, like, subscribe on Locked On Sports Minnesota on YouTube. Just search Locked On Sports Minnesota on YouTube, and you can get all of our shows. But I'm going to have more softball interviews coming this summer. I plan to make sure to do more of these, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Just leave your comments as well and let us know what you think. Have a great day.